Welcome back live to Newswatch 16 at 11. We understand the news conference in Snydersville, Monroe County is about to begin. We are going to take our live pictures from the Emergency Management Center in Monroe County. That is where state police are going to brief us and give us more information on tonight's deadly shooting at the Ross Township Supervisors meeting. As we've been reporting all night, 3 people are dead. At least 3 others are wounded. And here's the news conference from Monroe County.
p.m. The Pennsylvania State Police at Lehighton received a 911 hang-up call. A minute later, we received another call from an individual reporting an active shooter at the Ross Township building. That shooter has been identified as Rockney Warren Newell, N-E-W-E-L-L. Former address of 293 Flight Road, P.O. Box 550, Saylorsburg. He's 59 years of age. At approximately 15 minutes after 7 this evening, Mr. Newell approached the township building armed with a long gun. Upon the approach to the township building, he began to fire the long gun into the township building through the windows of the building. He continued to advance on the building, firing as he walked forward, firing through the windows. The building was occupied with between 15 and 18 members of the Township Supervisors Council, and also residents who had attended were in attendance at the meeting. He subsequently then entered the building, continuing to fire the long gun as he made his way through the building. At some point, he then exited the building and returned to the parking lot where he retrieved a handgun from his vehicle. He then again reapproached the building and entered the building, again firing the weapon, and was subsequently tackled and brought to the ground by 2 individuals who were inside the township building. He was restrained until the troopers arrived and took him into custody. During the course of this incident, 4 individuals were killed. 2 individuals were deceased upon the arrival of the emergency responders. 1 individual was flown by medevac helicopter and succumbed to his injuries down at the St. Luke's Bethlehem Hospital. And another individual, a female, who was flown to Lehigh Valley Cedar Crest campus, succumbed to a gunshot wound. There was 1 additional injury suffered. It was a grazing wound to the head. The male victim is believed to be in good condition as we speak. The actions of this individual at this point are under investigation. The manner and reason for what he did this evening is still under investigation. I'll now open the floor to Lieutenant Bartle, who will provide you with some additional information.
So is there 6 injured plus the shooter, or we heard reports of 7, according to, because you have the 4 dead and you had 1 other graze wound, and the shooter would be 6.
Correct.
That's 7.
There was also someone with a medical emergency of some sort.
The heart attack?
Well, it's a stress-induced illness. It's not a gunshot wound. I'm only speaking at this point to those who suffered gunshot injuries.
Was the shooter, when he was wrestled to the ground, did they shoot him? Was he shot himself?
The manner in which the shooter sustained the injury, which is a gunshot wound, is under investigation.
Where was he shot at?
My understanding, he was shot in the leg. I was told that at the scene. I did not see him. And as the captain said, we are trying to determine whether he was shot during the struggle or whether the weapon was taken off of him and he was shot at that time as he continued to make advances towards the victims.
Did Mr. Newell know anyone inside that building? Did he have any relationship? Any sort of indication of motive at this point?
I'm going to allow Lieutenant Bartle to speak as to the possible motivation and the circumstances that may have led up to this incident this evening.
He's had an ongoing dispute with. He's had an ongoing dispute with township officials, something about the condemnation of his property and issues relating to his sewer. I'm not really sure if he personally knew the individuals who had been killed tonight or not. They were there, I believe, One of them is in an official capacity with the township, so you would assume that he did know them, but I don't know that as to be a fact.
Can anyone tell us where Mr. Newell is now?
He is at Pocono Medical Center? Correct. Any other?
And of those dead and injured, can you tell us who were township supervisors, if there were members of the public who were injured as well?
It's my understanding that one was a person who acted in the capacity for the township, but I'm really not sure on that. I don't even have the identity of all the 4 people who were killed at this point.
Sir, do you know, was there something about his property that was on the agenda tonight, or did this?
No, I was told there was nothing about his property on the agenda tonight. Apparently, the property was condemned possibly last Thursday, and he'd been out of there since then, and possibly even longer than that. He showed up at this meeting unbeknownst to people that he was going to be coming today. He showed up in a car with Texas registration plates.
Can you describe the weapon he was using in more detail? Was it an automatic weapon?
At this point, all I know that it's a long gun that we believe was returned to the vehicle by him. We have applied for and will execute a search warrant on the vehicle to see exactly what it was, and also I was told a handgun. And I don't know whether it was a semi-automatic, revolver, or what type of handgun at this point.
What do you know about his background? Do you know anything about him personally? There are rumors that he was interested in guns.
I do not know that. All I know is that he had an ongoing dispute with the township over his property.
Did he shoot anyone with a handgun, or was it just a long rifle?
I do not know what they were shot with. I know that he initially entered the building with the long gun, and that there were people shot with that. Whether anyone was shot with a handgun or not, I do not know.
Do we know if those weapons were registered to him?
I do not know that at this point. We haven't even executed the search warrant for the one. The handgun is in the property of the state police. They took custody of it upon arrival, but as far as I know, it hasn't even been checked yet to see who it is registered to.
Do you have any information about the 2 people who tackled him? Who they were? Were they members of the public? Were they township officials?
They were at the meeting. I believe one was a member of the public, and one was someone related with the parks program.
Can you confirm Bernie Posen? We heard reports from someone who was inside the room.
I don't know what the gentleman's name is. I had troopers were interviewing them, but I don't have that information handy.
Talk about what they did. I mean, in your mind, I mean, these are 2 guys. This guy's opening fire on a whole room of people that are basically almost stuck, and these guys sprang into action, tackled them. I mean, they saved lives.
Well, they certainly did. It's certainly courageous what they did, and they absolutely would have saved lives. He was entering the building again with a handgun, and certainly his intent had been shown that he was wanted to do to harm to people, and certainly if they would not have done that, he would have killed or injured other people.
Do you know how many people in attendance at the meeting?
I was told 15 to 18 people were in attendance. I don't know how many were in official capacity with the township and how many were residents that were there for the meeting or had something on the agenda.
And that's not the public safety building, the police building, is it?
Ross Township Municipal Building.
How do you spell Rockney? R-O...
Ross, R-O-S-S.
No, Rockney. Rockney.
The spelling on his first name is R-O-C-K-N-E.
Does he have any sort of history of violence that you guys are aware of? Or?
You're watching a live telecast of the news conference going on in Monroe County right now. Well, we have learned some new information about tonight's shooting at the Ross Township Supervisors meeting. 4 people have been killed officially from state police. 4 people are dead. A 5th person was wounded, but thought to be not seriously. And the 6th person wounded was the shooting suspect himself, identified as 59-year-old Rockney Newell, who was apparently having some kind of long-running dispute with Ross Township about his property. It had been condemned. There had been stories in the news previously about trash on his property that he had been ordered to clean up, but this had been going on for quite some time. Why tonight? You heard the official mention that the property had just been possibly condemned within the last 4 or 5 days, so maybe this was the first township supervisors meeting, and this is where he chose to come and make his very violent statement, if what we are hearing from the police is is absolutely a matter of fact right now. Rockney Newell is the shooting suspect. He is in custody, and we believe him to be injured and possibly also injured by a gunshot wound. Was it his own gun that someone wrestled from him and fired with? Was it another person's personal weapon that they took down the shooting suspect with? We don't know right now. We do know 4 people have been killed. We know at least one of those 4 people was in an official capacity with Ross Township, whether it be a supervisor or in some other township position. But that is what we know as of right now. And again, we are continuing our live coverage in Monroe County, and we will bring you much more as it becomes available throughout Newswatch 16 at 11 tonight.